We did our project on Florence Price. She was born April 9th, 1887 in Little Rock, Arkansas, and she died on June 3rd, 1953 in Chicago, Illinois. Florence was a composer during both the Romantic era, the 1800s, and the modern era, the 1900s. The Romantic era included extensive symphonies with dramatic operas and passionate songs. During the modern era, composers began to break the norms and play with the harmonic and structural rules that had been set by the composers before them. In her music, Price took inspiration from her southern roots, making her art filled with passion and religious influence. For her early music education, Price was initially educated by her mother, Florence Gulliver Smith. Her mother was a music teacher in Little Rock, Arkansas. At 15 years old, Price entered the New England Conservatory, a private institution with music being the primary focus. Here she studied composition and counterpoint. Florence graduated in 1906 with an artist diploma in organ and a piano teacher certificate. Later, Price was enrolled at the University of Chicago, Chicago Musical College, Chicago Teachers College, and the American Conservatory of Music, all where she studied music, languages, and liberal arts. Her main instruments were the piano and the organ, and she composed for orchestras, chamber works, art songs, and works for violin, organ anthems, piano pieces, and spiritual arrangements. Some interesting information about Price: she composed over 300 pieces. She was the first Black American woman to have her works performed by major orchestras, and she served as the head of the music department of Clark Atlanta University.
My group and I decided to analyze Florence Price's first movement of her first symphony. This movement is 17 minutes long. Florence Price's first symphony was finished in the year of 1932. Her work was composed during the time of the modern era in classical music. She was the first Black female composer to have her work performed by a major orchestra, and this recognition was huge for the start of her career. My group and I decided to take a deep analysis into her first piece of work, which was titled Symphony No. 1 in E minor. I'm going to play a minute and a half of her first symphony in the first movement. I have the link to the song and the timestamp listed below. Even though you didn't get to hear all of them, this symphony was made for flutes, piccolos, oboes, clarinets, bassoons, trumpets, trombones, tubas, and percussion and string instruments. The tone painting of this song feels suspenseful but also delicate. In the beginning, the instruments being played sounded light and soft, but then when the pace picked up and the music got harsher, it started to sound suspenseful and dramatic. In the symphony, there were 4 movements, which is also the structure of the symphony. The beginning of this piece has a steady rhythm. As more instruments got added in, the rhythm bounces around and the instruments sound like they are jumping back and forth. You can hear it go from steady to choppy and then back to steady again when the mood of the piece changes. The tempo of this piece sounds slow and steady at the beginning, but throughout the piece you will notice that it slows down at times and gets faster during other times, causing the listener to feel the dramatic changes throughout the symphony.
So the first piece that we decided to take a less in-depth look at was Ticklin' Toes. So we're going to listen to the first 30 seconds of it. The first movement of Florence Price's arrangement for piano, Three Little Negro Dances, is titled Ticklin' Toes, 1933. This compilation, which went on to become one of Price's most well-known, strongly drew upon the syncopation and rhythm of the African-American spiritual music. The next piece is Summer Moon. Again, we're going to listen to the first 30 seconds of it. So this is one of at least two of Price's works connected to the well-known and adored singer, jazz pianist, and social crusader Mary Midgett,